Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Whoa. I almost called it a reaction log. I've been working a lot on the Yobet store variations and the Fugue to 997. That one quite a bit. And yeah, I don't know. Hope you guys' practice is going well and all that. Hope you're enjoying the videos and stuff. That being said, I'm out of things to say, so let's go ahead and answer some common questions, and then we're all gonna go home. Okay, here we go. This is on the Estas Tone, I'm sorry, practice log. By the way, you might notice in that practice log, and maybe even this one too, I just suddenly stopped doing the guitar practice log number. That's because I did an A/B test on YouTube, which if you don't know what an A/B test is, you might notice sometimes, like in the first hour or 2 hours of my video posting, if you like refresh the page or like go on a different account and look at my video, my title and very rarely sometimes my thumbnail will change too. That's because YouTube has a tool where you can give a video 2 titles and it'll split those 2 titles evenly. And out of the 2 groups who see your video with different titles, it'll see who watches it for longer. And I guess the idea is if the title better matches the content, you'll get more of a watch for a view, which is like, that's what pays the bills, watch hours. And if your title is too clickbaity and it gets a bunch of views and they don't watch for very long because they realize it's unrelated to the video, YouTube will mark that video as like clickbait and it'll actually suppress showing it to people. So the A/B test can be kind of useful, and I do it like kind of often, not always, but I tried it with a practice log and it got like 11% more watch hours without including practice log. So I think going forward, I'm just going to do an A/B test on every practice log, and if it happens that every time it's always preferring no practice log, then like, what am I to do? I'm also a businessman on top of everything else. I need money. But anyways, this is from my last practice log, unlabeled. This is from Portman2 94. Hey Cammy, my boy. Close enough. That's close enough to my name. I remember in one of your vids, you brought up a textbook and you were like, if you don't know music theory, this is the book to get. It's like the best book ever or something like that. I didn't say that. I guarantee that. What book was that? And if I'm making that memory up, what book would you recommend? I remember briefly talking about music theory textbooks a couple of times. I would never say that any one textbook is the best, but I do have a textbook that I used, which, hold on. It's this one right here. This is what I used for my undergrad, my 4 semesters of music theory. Concise Introduction to Tonal Harmony. And this is a pretty concise introduction to it. Look at how thin that is. I'm not like a music theory whiz, but I know a standard amount of music theory, and I could certainly pass like exemption tests for any college level music theory class. And I'll tell you exactly how I learned that. I attended college as an undergrad, and I did 4 semesters of music theory, and I also did 4 semesters of aural skills, which kind of goes hand in hand with music theory. That's basically applying the music theory that you learn through first like singing and like vocalizing it, and then also hearing it on usually piano and being able to like notate it and stuff and just know what it is you're hearing. Those skills took me a long time to learn, and I think that's kind of the key with learning that stuff. It's going to take a long time. You can't master music theory in a week of just cramming from a music theory textbook. Like, I really think that 2-year process, it was sort of the key to actually internalizing and like eventually being able to see the stuff in the music that I play now. So really, it could be this book. It could honestly be any AP music theory or like college level music theory book. It's not like this stuff needs to be updated because this is all like 18th century music theory like that is found in this book. There might be some post-tonal stuff in here. It ends at sonata form. That's the last thing here. So, but if you want a book to be similar to this one, this has 5 parts in it. The first one is fundamentals, which is just going to cover like notation, pitch, rhythm, all your scales, intervals, triads, and 7th chords, and that's the fundamentals. Part 2, overview of harmony and voice leading. So it's covering 4-part harmony. It's covering how to resolve all those chords that you learned through voice leading, embellishments, and then a little bit of species counterpoint, which like you're going to be learning about counterpoint regardless from like the voice leading. If you want to get more into that, there's probably better books to get, but first you'd want to start with something like this just to get the like absolute basics down. Part 3 is covering diatonic harmony. It's pretty important, right? But this is talking about like specific block chords and inversions and how would you resolve in any situation, which like this stuff I guess is useful for composing. Most of what I do is analysis, so I'm learning music that's already like peer reviewed in a sense. Like I'm learning music that's of the classical canon. I don't need to check for voice leading errors and that. Like I know everything I see in like the Yobet store variations or in the Bach fugue that I'm learning. The movements you see there are what we base this stuff in this book on. So I don't need to check box work, you know? So as long as I'm able to identify chords and then just notice how they resolve and move, that's like sort of the same thing as this right here, but it's sort of more teaching you the stuff in a vacuum. So at the very least, you want to just be able to identify any chord and any inversion for your music, and then you can see in your music how it's going to resolve. Or it'll tell you here, like, how it typically resolves. And it's just covering a whole bunch of that stuff. Alright, chromatic harmony is part 4, which is like diatonic harmony, but with more notes. And then part 5, we're covering form, which is all that stuff, but now how do we put it all into like a piece? So that is a very concise introduction to tonal harmony. That's the book that I learned from, and it took 2 years to cover all that stuff. And honestly, after those 2 years, I still needed another couple years to help digest it. And then something else on top of that that helped me was I was a GA this previous year in grad school for an accelerated music theory class. They started from like the fundamentals, and then at the end of the year, I think we ended with like pretty serious chromatic harmony. So I got much more comfortable with like the augmented 6 chords and the Neapolitan 6 chords, which if you don't know what that stuff is, you'll get to it in the book if you get a book. If you have no experience with music theory, how do you even begin approaching something like that? Honestly, it might help to get a music theory teacher to like actually teach you this stuff. I know that we all want to learn on our own, but it's a tall order. You have to be extremely dedicated to go through something like this for 2 years of your life and just like learn it. Like obviously you can do it in less time, but you know, like it takes time to really process this stuff. So if you are going to go through a book like this, I would say that first, the most important thing, like especially for my purposes, is just to be able to identify things, because that's sort of half the battle of music theory. First identifying, and then actually understanding the context of like how should this resolve or move to the next chord. But first identifying, that's like king, because that's what you need to actually like analyze music. Like you identify it, and again, you're not checking box work, so you can assume that his voice leading is good, because again, that's what we're basing our rules off of. So that's what I use. Now, how would you start going into that, especially if you're on your own? God, like I would just start with fundamentals, and I would start with identifying things. So that's identifying your intervals on the staff of, like, I'm assuming you're reading guitar music, so get really comfortable with treble clef. Notes and intervals, be able to like say and identify any triad, forwards and backwards, anything. And then once you have all that, I would just go through all of the diatonic and all the chromatic harmony and just read it. You don't have to understand everything perfectly, and then try analyzing your music. And you can even start with an easier soar etude or something. He has a bunch of harmony etudes that traverse a lot of chromatic stuff, and you should be able to find pretty accurate analysis of those so you can check your work too. And then when it comes to the advanced chromatic harmony stuff, again, just start with identifying stuff. Like, can you identify a German augmented 6 in all 12 keys? And if you can't, just write the notes out for all 12 keys and just try to like make that association, you know, and it'll start becoming more automatic in your music. You'll see it. And you know, how useful is that? I don't know. Like it helps some people memorize their music to know this theory stuff. I've also heard some people say that it doesn't help them. Whatever. I think it helps me a little bit. Honestly, most of my memory on guitar comes from basic triads and then like remembering melodies and stuff, which I'm not analyzing that like as I play it. Like I'm just thinking about scales and melodies. But yeah, that's the book. And again, it could be any music theory book. Just make sure it covers those topics that I said. That's going to be your standard 18th century music theory fundamentals book. It'll help you with composing too, especially if you want to compose following these specific rules, which you certainly don't have to do. And as we look at composers who are later and later with like serialism and minimalism and even like atonal or post-tonal music, a lot of modern composition these days have completely different rules that are just totally detached from this book that I just showed you here. I don't know. I feel like there's more I could say on this, but I feel like I should stop talking. But yeah, hopefully that was something for you. If you really want to learn music theory and you have unlimited resources, getting a music theory teacher, like ideally with a composition degree or a music theory degree or something, that'll get you there the fastest. And like make sure they assign you homework and just try to stay committed to analyzing music with your free time, and you'll get comfortable with it. And as much as you can, anything that you learn in the book, try to play on the guitar or like sing or something. And it might be challenging to play some of the examples because a lot of them are going to be for like 4-part harmony, like choir or like keyboard or something. It's not always easy to play 4 parts on guitar, but just do your best. All right, so I'm going to go to my dad's house now, and we're going to fix my car. Or really, he's going to fix my car. I'm just going to watch him the whole time. And I'm going to practice at some point there, and you're going to see that. So, I will see you there. I'm back from visiting my parents that I mentioned. You might have noticed I uploaded a little bit of an odd video. I uploaded some music for once. I've been sitting on that one for a while, saving it for when I was traveling and then didn't have videos to upload, and that's what happened. And it was a good time to put it out too, because I had just put out 2 Marson videos in a row, so like tensions are high. And it's always a good thing to do for when you cast stones. You should offer up a little bit of, you know, something of your own. So if you haven't listened to that yet, I think there's something in there for everyone. If you like me, I think there's a lot of good in it, and if you don't like me, I think there's a lot of bad in it that you can ridicule me for. So, you know, something for everyone. Before anybody asks, I don't think anybody has actually explicitly asked, but no, it's not AI slop. And the things that I used to make that were an electric guitar, an RP500 multi-effects pedal, and all of the stock MIDI and plugins that come with Logic Pro. I bought Logic Pro, $200. Look at me. Alright, I'm gonna get to practicing some Bach now, and we'll see everything that I work on. So, I'll see you on the other side. I haven't been practicing for that long, but my fingers hurt a lot. Like the tips of my fingers, I don't know if you can tell, but I've been practicing a lot recently off camera, and they're in pain. So I'm ready to be done just for now. I promise I'm going to practice more tonight. But I feel like I'm in a good place with Sonata Giacosa. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the first movement in its entirety, and that's going to be played perfectly. And then the third movement, I'm just going to play like half of it just to show you progress on Raschiatos and stuff, because I feel like I've made progress on it. It still sucks. Like, I just made a bunch of Marson videos, and now I'm going to show you my terrible Raschiatos. Ooh, there's food on my shirt. But whatever, how brave, right? Alright, let me bring you closer. Yeah, and I'm kind of just ready to start my day. I woke up a little later than I wanted to. So, whatever. YouTube algorithm, I'm not Marson Dyla. I know, I sound exactly like him, I know. So, Rodrigo family, enjoy that 55% of my revenue. Also, I didn't tune because there's no point in tuning for this piece. I know I just made a whole Marcin video about sloppiness and how it's not classical. I know, guys, I know. The difference is Marcin could play it not sloppy. I can't. Okay, here's what I have of the third movement. I have the whole thing memorized. I can keep going. I played the wrong note there. I'm experimenting with like heavier Roschiato. With rust stroke too, like I'm experimenting with like putting weight into my thumb. I feel like a lot faster at it. Sloppy, I know, but the Rodrigo is different. Rodrigo, I feel like there's gonna be a certain amount of just like messiness to it. That's not true at all. People play it perfectly. But for me, there's gonna be a certain amount of messiness. If you listen to my Roschiatos like last month versus now, even though those were like terrible and just out of time, I'm getting more control of them. And it's just gonna be a matter of practicing these little skills that I want to get better at just a little bit every day. Like 10 to 20 minutes of my practice every day right now is just... And with a metronome too, just and that piece, I was playing it too fast too, so it's just like, I'm just trying to show off for you guys. I just want you guys to have something to look at that's cool, you know? But yeah, that's my practice for now. I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and post this video that is going to get demonetized. But that's okay, because I posted like 2 Marcin vids in a row, so those do well. So today's sore hand work day is gonna be for nothing, basically. But I gotta show you guys the Rodrigo. So this is the Rodrigo day. I'll show you this again in like 3 or 4 weeks, and it'll be freaking on it, I promise you. Fugue is coming along well. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. Let's go to the outro. Hey, of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Hey, I have a recital class if you want to play for me and try playing your repertoire. You know, even playing the Rodrigo today, I had like a couple of false starts if you're looking at the clock. Like you might have noticed it jumped ahead a few minutes. I'm just not used to performing that anymore, so I need to do that more. It might seem repetitive to play stuff over and over again, especially in the recital class for me, but that's like how you practice actually being able to perform it. Because guess what? In a performance, you only get one chance to start a piece, usually, and you have to practice starting a piece in performance. So how many times do you have to practice something for it to become consistent? Like 100 times? 200 times? Well, then you have to start that piece in performance that many times in order to like actually get consistent with it. So even here today, I had false starts, which is like unacceptable in a performance setting, of course. So, you know, I'll be playing that in the recital class a lot more probably, just because I can't play it here because I get demonetized for it. But yeah, of course, Rutin's Delight, there's no more sale, I'm sorry. June is over, July is starting, and there's no sale in July. Alright, well, I'll see you in the next one.